would you believe me when I said I love you, when you know I've been a liar all my life?
You've had that reputation since you was a youth.
You must have been insane to think I'd tell you the truth.
How could I believe you when you said we'd marry?
Why, you know I'd rather hang than have a wife. I know I said...
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my regular blog. This time I want to talk about politics and politicians and the immorality of their behavior and how disgusting they all are, even the ones who pretend to be so highly principled, like John McCain, for example. He thought nothing whatsoever. This straight-talking express, straight-talking boss, the straight-talking guy who he's a symbol of independence and integrity and honesty, and he's not like other politicians. He pretends to you that he can't tell a lie. It's impossible for him. He blatantly lied in the middle of this campaign about Romney asking for timetables to get out of the war when there was no such thing as a timetable suggested, and he invented a total fraud and a lie and defended it over and over, and 100 publications, the New York Times, even everybody else, the Time magazine, all identified him as a liar. It didn't affect him, it didn't move him, it didn't shake him, because he's a sick, deranged, low-life liar. That's what he is, because he told a sick, disgusting lie about Romney. But he's only one example. They all lie all the time like it means nothing. The immorality of politicians is a thing we accept as a way of life. Like they're accustomed to that kind of behavior, and we expect it from them. We wouldn't expect it in any other profession, in any other business. What's considered disgusting, vulgar, and obnoxious in any other field is considered normal and natural in politicians, and we're never even offended by it. That's because we sort of take it for granted. It's a filthy business, and they are filthy people. It's a call to patriotism and sacrifice to serve your country in politics because you care and you love your country. But once you care about your country enough to go into politics, somehow it's a dog-eat-dog business, and they all degrade themselves to a level of vulgarity that you see in no other business. Suddenly, the most filthy kind of behavior is acceptable. Take a look at what happens when they're running for office. Do you see? And here's a perfect example of it. For 2 years, they've been running for the presidency of the United States, different senators and congressmen, which means for those 2 years, they've been busy running all over the country. They did everything except pay attention to their business, where their business is supposed to be. Could you do this anyplace else? Do they have the nerve to ask you to pay for their ambitions while they're avoiding the whole responsibility that you elected them for? If I gave you a job and I was the boss and you never showed up for 2 years, or you neglected it because you were running for another job, would I pay your salary? Would you expect me to pay your salary? What right do they have to take your money, the American people's money, to serve their own ambitions while they're neglecting exactly what you're paying them to do? Only filthy, disgusting people could do it, but it's a way of life, and nobody thinks there's anything wrong with it because they expect it from them. They expect these people to live a filthy life, and we think of them as the most respectable people in the world while they're living a phony, disgusting life. Do you know that a politician could do even worse than that? They could collect your money for a campaign, and then all of a sudden, you know what they do? They change their mind and decide not to run at all. And they take your $1 million and they keep it. They have a right to keep it because the standard that anybody else observes in any other business doesn't count there. If you raised money to open a delicatessen and people gave you the money to open the store, and all of a sudden you decided to hell with the store, you decided to put it in your pocket and go on a honeymoon, you would be put in jail. You would be considered a common thief. In politics, they say, well, that's what I have a right to because they wrote the law that way. They wrote laws to serve them, who are supposed to pass laws to help you. Instead, they pass laws to help themselves and give themselves an opportunity to do whatever they please, to desecrate the office, desecrate every concept of honor and integrity, and they turn out to be the lowest people in the world. To take your money. That happened to me with Mario Cuomo. Mario Cuomo once called me up about 15 years ago when I thought I'd run for office, and I decided to completely suspend it when I saw I didn't have a chance to win. And I gave everybody back every penny they invested. When Mario Cuomo, who was then the governor of New York, heard about it, he called me up personally, even though I didn't know him at all, and said to me that I created a new level of morality that other politicians should learn from and observe, because it's a decency that nobody ever expected to find in politics, and that they should thank God there's a guy like me to prove something to them, that this kind of behavior could be an example to politicians for years to come. He actually said that to me. And about 2 years later, when he decided to run for president and then suspended his run for office, what do you think happened? He did exactly the same thing that he congratulated me that I didn't do. He congratulated me for giving up the money because I suspended my run for office. He congratulated me for giving up the money, and he himself kept the money after congratulating me for giving back the money. In other words, he contradicted himself when he had an opportunity to keep the money for himself. Suddenly he contradicted himself and proved to be a lowlife at the same time that he was thanking me for being such a moral person. I was supposed to become an example of morality. To who? Certainly not to him, because he kept the money. Which so means not only did he lie to the people, he lied to me, he lied to you, he lied to the whole country, and he could lie with a straight face because it meant nothing to him. That was the most disgusting example I ever saw of the blatant ugliness of politics.
How could you believe me when I said I love you when you know I've been a liar?
You sure have been a liar.
A double-crossing liar.
A double-crossing liar.
Oh, my doggone cheating lie.
You said you would love me long.
So what?
And never would do me wrong.
Stop bending the suit.
Faithful you'd always be.
Me? Why, baby, you must be loony to trust a lower than low two-timer like me.
You said I'd have everything.
Get hard.
A beautiful diamond ring.
Ha, ha, ha.
A bungalow by the sea.
A bungalow yet? You're really naive to ever believe a full of baloney phony like me.
Boy, I sure must have lost my head.
You ain't lost nothing you never had.
What about the time you went to Indiana?
I was lying, I was down in Alabama.
You said you had some business you had to complete.
What I was doing, I would be a cat to repeat.
What about the evenings you was with your mother?
I was romping with another honey lamb.
To think you swore our love was real.
Baby, leave us, not forget that I'm a heel.
How could I believe you when you said you loved me?
Why, you know, I've been a liar.
A good-for-nothing liar.
Oh, my good-for-nothing lie.